Hi everyone, today we're going to start our first session of distance learning. As you know, we are in Unit 8, Our Cultural Heritage, and this lesson is devoted for my first Bac Science 3 class. So please, first of all, I want you to make sure that you are following with me the PowerPoint presentation using the document attached to follow the exercises and the different activities. Let's start. So have a look at the picture you have in the top of the paper. Right. Look at the picture for a while then, and I want you to answer these questions. It's clear that we have a classroom. We have a person there, meaning the teacher, and we have some material that we use so as to explain. So you have 3 questions to answer. What school subject is she explaining? What is she and what is she doing? So take some minutes to answer. Great. So the first question, a teacher is explaining, as we can see, physics or chemistry. The place is the classroom, a scientific classroom, or we can say also she is in a laboratory, maybe physics, maybe chemistry, maybe another school subject like science. So it's obvious because we have some materials related to she's trying to do an experiment. You are scientific students, and mainly you are having this habit to do some experiments so as to make things clear, obvious, and so on. So let me explain what is experiment. If anyone knows, I hope you can share it with your friend. So an experiment is a scientific procedure done why? To discover, اكتشاف, to test, or to demonstrate a known fact. In Arabic, it's التجربة. Great. In science, physics, chemistry, or natural sciences, we have the habit to do some experiments. I will show you one of the experiments we can do just at home. Here is an example. So I want you to look at the picture. Look here, we have like a pan with some water in it, and it's on fire. Something that you do every day. So we can say, if you heat water, so water now is on fire, meaning we are heating water. If you heat water, what happens as an experiment in your opinion? What happens? So look at the picture now. The water is what? Boiling. It boils. So if you heat water, it boils. This is something which is true, something that you find at home, wherever you go. We cannot change the result. If you heat water, automatically it boils. Nice. This is an experiment. This is an example. Or we can say also, water boils if you heat it. Nice. Great. Now we move to the second activity. You have a short or a mini dialogue that you need to read and answer the questions you have in the PDF handout. Great. Before we start reading the dialogue, I want you to look at the pictures. We have water, and you are a scientific student. Water is a liquid. We have a freezer, meaning the up part of the fridge. We have ice. Ice is the opposite of water. It's solid. Water is liquid. The opposite is solid. And we have melted ice, meaning ice, it changes to water another time. All these things we can find it at home and wherever you go. So I give you some minutes. You read the dialogue and you try to answer the questions below. The first question, what's the experiment presented in the dialogue? The second one, is it always true when you freeze water, it becomes solid? And Question 3, is it always true that when we heat water, it turns into, when we heat ice, it turns to water? There is a mistake there. Okay, so take some minutes, then we can answer. Great, so the first question, returning back to the dialogue, what is the experiment that the teacher is doing? So the teacher wants to know the result of the water after staying in the freezer. Meaning we put water in the freezer, what happens? What is the result that we are going to have after maybe 1 hour, maybe 2 hours, if we put water water in the freezer? I know that all of you know the answer. Mainly it becomes ice. Great. 2, is it always true when you freeze water it becomes solid? Yes, true. There is no other result except becoming ice or solid. If we freeze water, it becomes ice or it becomes solid. Last question. It is always true that when we heat ice, it turns into water. Yes, that's also true. Great, so these are experiments that we have in everyday life in our routines, but we don't maybe make difference between the different experiments, so they are all true. So this type of facts, we call them real or scientific facts. They are always true. It is like mathematics, as I explain all the time. It's like 1 plus 1 equals 2. Let me ask you, can I say 1 plus 1 equals 3? No, we can't. It is false, and it has only one possible result. The same for water. If we put it in the freezer, it becomes ice. And ice, if we put it on fire, it becomes water. Great. Activity B. From the mini dialogue, I want you to find the if clause and the main clause. As you can see, the dialogue contains some sentences composed of 2 clauses, meaning a part of the sentence. We have if clause and main clause. I gave you the first example. If you leave water in the freezer, what is the next main clause? We have it. I gave you also the main clause, it turns to water. I want you to give me the if clause. The last example, you have to finish it from your own experience. If we mix the green color with the blue color, what do we get? Which color made of the green and the blue? Some minutes, then we can correct. I want you to look now at this picture. As you can see, we have glass, and the action is to hit. If you hit glass, mainly what happens, the result is it breaks. We have a broken glass. Great. If you hit glass, it breaks. Or you can say the glass breaks if you hit it. Here, look. If you flip the switch, we have a switch. If you flip the switch, what happens? Yes, the light switches on. If you flip the switch, the light switches on. Or maybe, if we flip the switch, the light switches off. It depends if it is on or off. Great. Or we can also say, the light switches on if you flip the switch. Now, if you hit the glass, if clause, this is the one in the blue color, it breaks, this is the main clause. The second example, water balls, if you hit it. So what is water balls? It's the main clause. If you hit it is the if clause. So we have the sentence composed of 2 clauses. Let me ask you a question. What does it mean, if? What does if mean? If. Think about it. And now we move. Based on the example here, I want you to complete the following grammatical rule. If clause, we have if you hit the glass. When I say grammatical rules, meaning subject, verb, object, and so on. So if is if, we cannot change it. We have you is a subject, and hit is a verb in the present simple. This is if clause. Look here. If clause. If plus you plus hit, if plus subject plus verb in the present. If you hit the class, if plus subject plus verb in the present. Great. Now we move to the main clause. The first one, it bricks. As you know, it is a subject and bricks is a verb in the present. So in the if clause and the main clause, both of them, we have the verb in the present simple. So our lesson is conditional type 0. Why we call it conditional? Because we have a condition. This is why I asked you the question, what do we mean by if? A condition in Arabic meaning shart. If, ida, if you do something, you will have another thing. You have a condition and you are waiting for the result. So if clause, I have a condition. The main clause, I know what is the result. I am certainly and possibly waiting for something to happen. As I said before, it's like 1 plus 1 equals 2. So we call it conditional type 0 because it's real, it's possible, and it's true. We use it for scientific facts, for real, possible, and true situations. I return back to the table we had before where we have to put if clause, the main clause. I told you to think about it. If we mix the green color with the blue, so think about blue and green. We mix them, two colors, we mix them as we are painters and we want to paint like something. So we get which color? Mainly we get the orange color. So this is true, this is real, this is scientific maybe. If we mix the green color with the blue, we get the orange color. Nice. Now I want you to look at the paper, and after discovering the rule, we move to the first exercise. Match each element from column A with its corresponding part in column B. So you have statements in A, statements in B. It's maybe an if clause or a main clause. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, B, C, D, and E. I give you 2 minutes to do the exercise with the correction. Great. So here is the correction. Number 1, people get fat. The answer, if they eat junk food. 2, if a person practices sport, mainly the answer, he or she always feels good. That's true also. You don't get fat if you eat healthy food. You know that junk food is not good for you. Number 4, if you don't sleep at night, and sleeping is very important in our life, the answer is D. You get tired all the day. You cannot concentrate and you cannot do your job well. Finally, plants die if, number B or letter B, if it doesn't rain. If you don't have rain, surely plants die. Great. This is the first exercise. Exercise 2, I want you to complete with the 0 conditional the sentences. You have verbs and you have subjects. We remember, or we try to remember the rule. We have if plus subjects plus simple present, subjects plus verb in the simple present. You have 3 minutes and we correct. First one, if I go on a boat, I always feel sick. Subjects plus verb in the present, the verb go in the present. I go, you go, she goes, he goes, it goes, we, they go. 2, the teacher gets angry if we, and we have not meaning the negative form in the present. The teacher gets angry if we don't work hard. It's easier to sleep if, and another time, negative form with the verb to be, if you are not stressed. His mother gets annoyed if he is late. Here we don't have a negative form. 5. If I don't know a word, I look in my dictionary. And the last one, they revise their lessons if they have a test. So you have to revise your lessons. This is like true, real, possible situations that we live every day in our life. Great. Finally, now I want you to complete these statements according to you, meaning your personal experience, your personal experiments, if we can say. First of all, if I wake up late, what happens to you if you wake up late to school maybe or to your job? 2. If I feel sad, what do you do when you feel sad? 3. If I stay at home. What do you do if you are something? You have to stay at home. 4. If plus subject plus something, I get fat. What makes you getting fat? And finally, if something, I can't keep calm. Meaning, what is the thing that you can't stand? You can't, meaning, keep yourself calm without being nervous. So I'm waiting for you to write comments on my presentation if you don't understand something, and I wait for your answers to share it with me in our group. Thank you so much. See you in the next presentation.